All praises to the Most High Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shahamashiach, double honors unto the elders and apostles out here preaching and pushing the truth wherever you may be, and especially to those of GMS who have taught us this truth. Peace and salutation to the whole for your elect. Real quick, we again dealing with right here, as you see on the screen, Psalms 121, a song of degrees. I just did a song of degrees on Psalms 120, breaking that down and dealing with that. Make sure you go check that out on this channel. And being that it's February, what they like to tag, or shall I say, gave unto the so-called black people as Black History Month, I'm going to be going through the Song of Degrees to help us mentally, because, you know, we're dealing with captivity, whether we want to admit it or not. And even though, right, that they claim that we have experienced the Emancipation Proclamation and what have you, right? That was issued in 1863 during Civil War. The reality of the matter is we're still dealing with captivity. And because of that, it's very needful. It's a necessity for us to look at these Song of Degrees because they're going to enlighten us. And again, like I said, I'm using this as a foundation to hopefully bring people over into the truth as it relates to Black History Month. But let's get to it. Won't be long. Must I remind you, if you haven't listened to the other video, must I remind you, Song of Degrees points to Israel rising in understanding. It points to Israel ascending. I want y'all to hear me out because we're not over there in our homeland right now. But because we are still dealing with captivity and enslavement in one way or the other here in the land mystery called Babylon, right? This Psalms is helping us to understand the ascension, the ascending coming out of captivity mentally. As I said on the other video, when you control someone's mindset, you can control their behavior. This is why they put so much emphasis on controlling and regulating literature. There's a saying out here that says that the one that controls literature controls the world. What do you mean, prophet unto the nation? If you control literature, you control the world. Again, if I control literature, I can control what I feed you. And if I want to keep you dumbed down, if I want to keep you inferior in your actions, in your reactions, I can feed you garbage. And a lot of you so-called black people, you think you're in motion, you think you're doing something, when if you sit down and really think about it or contemplate how your life is going, you will have to attest to the reality something is wrong. Now, I'm not talking about individual success. I'm talking about the so-called black people. By and large, something is wrong. And that something that's wrong ties back to he who controls literature controls the world. No wonder the prophet in Hosea chapter 4, verse 6 says, my people, this is Yahweh speaking, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. If you have the wrong knowledge, you can't believe right. If you have the wrong knowledge, you can't walk right. If you have the wrong knowledge, you can't work right. If you have the wrong knowledge, you can't be on your purpose or your grind in the righteous way. So it's very imperative for us to ascend out of captivity mentally. And when your mind comes out of captivity, everything else follows. That's why Malcolm X was known to quote, and I ain't talking about no articulating in no university at a university. I ain't talking about no articulating in no theological school. I'm not talking about articulating in no seminary school, which we like to call cemetery schools. I'm talking about real education. And Malcolm X was known to say, without education, you're going nowhere. And then when you look at the so-called black people, you have to testify to the essence that black people, by and large, have not been going nowhere collectively. And those who have experienced some type of magnitude of success, some type of magnitude of generating wealth, they had to sell out and they have to partner. They had to partner with this system. They had to deduce or reduce who they are and partner with this system in order to get that success, because somewhere we have allowed people to feed us not true knowledge but lies. And so, again, we have to ascend out of captivity with our mind. And this is what we're going to be dealing with right here. The psalmist says, I will. That go mindset right there. Matter of fact, let me grab some precepts as they come to my mind. A lot of you don't have no will. A lot of you sit back and allow life to come to you. I'm gonna deal with this verse 12 right here. A lot of you sit back and think life is going to happen for you. A lot of you sit back and think that what you should be doing is going to manifest without you having to do something about it for you, because you don't have a will. He said right here, I will. Now, come over here to 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 12. For if there be first a willing mind. So many of you so-called black people, your mind is in the dumps. Your mind is trash. Your mind is garbage. Your intellect is ruined. Your mindset, your perception on life is desecrated. You have allowed people who you think really want to help you, but in actuality, they want to keep you down in degradation, and you still look to them for knowledge. But if your mind will get in this truth, you realize you can't be looking to the system. You can't be looking to no oppressors. You can't be looking to no other nationalities. You can't be looking to the government to do for you what the Most High Yahweh has already given you. This is our victory. Even the word. This is our victory, even the law. He already told us in Deuteronomy chapter 28, if you obey his law, you'll be blessed. Doing what? Coming in, coming out. You'll be blessed in the field, you'll be blessed in the city. Oh, come on, walk with me. But if you don't be blessed, that's a sign that you're not walking in the knowledge of what he already ordained for you to be walking in. And when you look at us by and large, you can't help but see the curses. This is why we know the people that's walking around here with them top hats. This is how we know they are not the people of the book. This is why we know they're not the people according to prophecy. This is why we know, according to Revelation chapter 2 around the 9th verse, and Revelation chapter 3 around the 9th verse, this is why we know they ain't nothing but liars, the synagogue of Satan, because the curses don't match up with them. But when you look at the so-called black people, by and large, you see these curses follow them wherever they go. Listen, I will, be back over here, lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. The hills, you see right here. Let's deal with this in three multi-layer understanding. Hills, mountains. Yes, it's speaking literally, because we know that Mount Zion, we know that the temple was up on the mount in Jerusalem, Mount Zion. We know it. We understand this was where the place of the Most High presence was among his people up on Mount Zion. So we know literally it's talking about a mountain and hills. But in a spiritual sense, mountain hills speaks of governments. It speaks of rulership. It speaks of authority. This is kingdom language. It- Mountains and hills and scribbles and scriptures symbolize empires. So by virtue of the psalmist saying, I ain't looking up to the hills. He said, I'm looking to your kingdom. Oh, I wish y'all would just pray with me. That don't this sound like? Let me bring the priest up over here. Let's go to, I think it's Luke chapter 11. Let's see. We go where the Most High tell us to go. Listen, verse 1, Luke chapter 11. It came to pass that as he was praying in a certain place, when he ceased, one of his disciples said unto him, Yahweh, teach us to pray as Jah also taught his disciples. And he said unto them, when ye pray, don't think about praying. When ye pray, say, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. So if heals in a spiritual sense speaks to government, speaks to rulership, speaks to a kingdom, what David is ultimately saying, I'm looking to your kingdom, Yahweh, because it's your kingdom that dictates what goes on in the earth. And that's why I'm praying. But another thing, hill, mountain, also speaks to systems. And when you look at the so-called black man and the so-called black woman, the reality is we are in this captivity and we are surrounded by hills that act like they for us, but behind closed doors working against us. Government working against us. Put all type of policies in place where you think it's really helping you out, is destroying you. You don't believe me? Look at the incentive program. Huh? Look at what LBJ did when he gave us help. You think it was helping us out? The government assisted, it only on the surface, only to the naked eye, it helped. But it caused a great division within the so-called black people community. It caused a great breakdown. And it jump-started this gender war. It jump-started big time. A decrease in togetherness. I'm trying to help y'all. It caused separation. It caused us to experience, you understand, this back and forth between the man and a woman. And from that moment on, you've been seeing this. You've been seeing this back and forth. And we're still dealing with the end results. 1964 Civil Rights Act. You think it was civil, but it was to our destruction. Because instead of looking up to the hills from which cometh our help, we were looking to the hills of the government. We were looking to the hills of this economy. We were looking to the hills of the institutions that this mystery Babylon put in place, not to help us, but to destroy us with us not even being aware. And a man out policy that came along with this left the kids exposed. It and feel within the woman a mindset that's totally against her nature. Now she's moving in masculinity because she opted out of headship. She opted out of divine leadership and presumptuously stepped out of her role into head of household and gave sway to feminism, because around the same time the second wave of feminism was going on in 1964 with the Civil Rights Act. And it didn't do nothing but tarnish her mind. And now she's an independent warrior. And because this has been embedded innately in her behavior from that moment, and now when you look at marriage on paper, you see a big time decrease. When you look at mental illness and mental problems and mental capacities all out of whack, it didn't decrease, it went up. Because when things is out of order, when things is not in alignment, when things is contrary to what the Most High prescribed, destruction always follow. And the children left to themselves, been raised by the media, been raised by TV, been raised by podcasts. And the young boys been raised by violence, gang banging, been raised by nothingness. And the fathers who left their posts, they have totally given up. I don't know how I got here, but we're dealing with this. And can't you see why the summons says, lift up your eyes unto the hills? Because the hills that we are surrounded by here in Babylon, they are not here to help us, but to hurt us. They are not put in place to deliver us, but to desecrate us. They're not put in place to emancipate us. No. They are put in place to eradicate us. So he said, listen, get out of the normal. Get out of your nature. Get out of carnality and get over into the spiritual sense, because when I'm saying I'm looking to the hills from which cometh my help, I'm looking to the kingdom of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh. You can't. Let me grab this. I get happy right along through here. Let me see. Jeremiah chapter 3. Let's see what he say. Help us. Watch this. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills. The hills, speaking of governments, speaking of the economies, speaking of entities that this place put in position to deceive us, because we run to it for help. But before we realize it's meant for our hurt, it's too late, because you have been captivated by deceptions and lies. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills from which cometh my help. Because I understand deliverance don't come from no politics. Got all these people, I'm on the left wing, I'm a Democratic. Vote Democratic. I'm on the right wing. Vote conservative. Vote Republican. No. Our deliverance don't come from no politics. It don't come from no money. It don't come from your social status. David, who was a king, he said, listen, I in charge of Israel. I have riches. I have women after women. I have workers after workers. I have servants after servants. I can speak a word and it be carried out as a king, but I have you to know that at the end of the day, I must look up to the hills. He goes on to say, my help come from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. Now, you go back to Genesis chapter 1. You go back to Genesis chapter 2. You realize, this is what David, this is what the psalmist is trying to tell you to go back to. You realize, if Yahweh made heaven and earth, damn it, he's in control of it. My help don't come from something that's created. My help comes from the Creator. My help don't come from someone who needs to look up. My help comes from the one whom we look up to. David, as king, ultimately he said, no matter how big I get, no matter how high I go, I still will be looking up to you, Yahweh. He established the source of his power. He let it be known, my help. So-called black people, don't you keep falling victim to what's going on here. Don't you keep falling victim to the lies. Don't you keep falling victim to being carried up within this matrix and within this wicked empire. You better realize your help comes from Yahweh. Verse 3, he will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He gonna keep you on solid ground. Storms may come, wind may blow, but he's not going to allow your foot to be moved. Storms and trials may come, but you are going to keep standing. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He won't let you be overthrown. He won't let you lose. He won't let you miss out. He won't let you be defeated. Your foot not being moved. He won't allow you to be moved off of your square. He won't allow you to be afraid. He won't allow you to be fearful. And I hear 2 Timothy. Let me grab it over here on the right side. 2 Timothy chapter 1. Let's see what it says around the 6th verse. Wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of Yahweh, which is indeed by the putting on my hand. For Yahweh hath not given us the spirit of fear. He's not going to allow you to be moved. But he has given you power, love, and a sound mind. You will not suffer thy foot to be moved. Look at some of the great boxers, even George Foreman, when he came back to win the championship. Michael Moore threw everything at him but the kitchen sink. Yet his foot was not moved. He threw all the type of knockout punches. Remember, my memory served me correctly, Michael Moore knocked Holyfield out. He knocked out many people, but he couldn't knock out George Foreman. George Foreman's feet was not moved, because he was able to withstand, standing on his feet, being able to withstand Michael Moore power punches Towards the end, when Michael Moore wore down, George Foreman hit him with a right cross, knocking him out. And the stories from people say he even broke Michael Moore's jaw, causing him to win the heavyweight champion again. He was punched on. He was beat on. He suffered some heavy attacks, but George Foreman's feet was not moved. This is all the psalmist is telling us right here. No matter how hard life get, no matter how detrimental the blow it is that life throw your way, when you look up to Yahweh, he would not allow your feet to be moved. You always come out on top. Goes on to say, he that keep thee will not slumber. Yahweh never slumber. Watch what he goes on to say. Behold, he that keep Israel should neither slumber nor sleep. He never sleep. He never slumber. You have those of us that's in the truth, that's pushing prophecy, we still need to sleep and slumber. The watchmen of Israel need to sleep and slumber. Leaders need to sleep and slumber. Politicians, presidents, kings, they need to sleep and slumber. Congressmen, mayors, governors need to sleep and slumber. Prime ministers need to sleep and slumber. But the psalmist say, I know someone. He never sleep nor slumber. And watch what it goes on to say. He that never sleep and slumber, he don't keep the world. Let's set this record straight. He don't keep the church. He don't keep what we like to call universal salvation people. But it said, behold, he that keep Israel. Only Israelites can be the elect. Only Israelites can be saints. Only Israelites can be part of the remnant. And this is who the Most High keeping. He goes on to say, Yahweh is that keeper. I know some strange things is going on. You got these new viruses out here. You got these new bacterias out here. You got these new laws out here. You got these ice groups out here. But Yahweh said, I am your keeper. And he that keep you don't sleep. And you look at that word keeper, it means shamar. Means, that's in the Hebrew, shamar. It means to guard. It means to preserve. It means to watch carefully. And it goes on to tell us how he protects, how he guards, how he keeps us. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. Now let's deal with this dang shade. When you go outside, the sun is at its highest strength, beaming. It beats upon you unless you have shade. And by virtue of the psalmist saying Yahweh is our shade, he's ultimately saying he able to protect us from the heat of situations. And somebody right now, you're in a heated situation. Somebody right now, you's in a heated problem. Somebody right now, you is in heat. A fiery trial and tribulation. But the Most High let you know he'll be your shade. And he be a shade upon your right hand. Right hand speaks to power. Right hand speaks to authority. Right hand speaks to agreement. And you know what else? Right hand speaks to covenant. When you meet somebody, you agree with them. You enter into covenant with one of the ancient languages that they utilized was a right hand handshake. But the Most High saying, if you're in covenant with me, if you are in agreement with me, I'll be thy shade upon that agreement, that covenant of my law. When you look at historicity, can I give you some more? When you look at historicity, when you look at antiquity times, it's a known fact that when they went to war, they sometimes didn't have anything to protect them on their right side. They was vulnerable. Yeah, they had a vest on, but sometimes the right side was exposed to the enemy. So again, by virtue of the Most High saying, he'll be thy shade upon thy right hand. He'll let you know he will keep you from being exposed. He'll keep you from being vulnerable. Where you're weak at, he'll make you strong. I hear scripture speaking to my mind. Joel chapter 3. Let's see that. Let's go over there. Joel chapter 3. It's coming to my mind, so let's see what it say. Let's start here. Okay. You see this? Beat your plowshares into swords. They go to war. And your pruning hooks into spears. Listen, let the weak say. Remember, the Most High said, I'm going to keep you from being vulnerable. I'm going to keep you from being weak. I'm going to keep you from being exposed. Where you think you're weak at, I'm going to make you strong. Let the weak say, I am strong. The sun should not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. This encompasses total protection. The sun speaks to the trials of life. The moon speaks to dark times in your life. No matter what you're going through, Yahweh letting you know he will keep you. He'll protect you on all sides. Sun speaks to, because it's in the daytime, speaks to open oppression. It speaks to visible oppression. It speaks to open economic hardship. The sun speaks to the hard labor you have to go through in open. The moon speaks to the attacks that you don't even know about in the nighttime. Speaks to the attacks of your life when you are in a dark situation. It speaks to the attacks that you're not aware of. And must I remind you, that's why it's important for you to say, rise up among us. Let your enemies be scattered. Let those that hate thee flee before thee. Because when you pray that way, you ultimately say, Yahweh, keep me from danger seen and unseen. He'll protect you in everything that you go through. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The moon also speaks to psychological warfare. It speaks to fear. It speaks to anxiety and confusion. And no matter, they are trying to encourage us, trying to remind us of Black history this month. But what you need to be reminded of is lifting up your eyes to the hill from whence cometh your help. Because it's only Yahweh that's able to protect you. It goes on, Yahweh should preserve that going out and that coming in. This speaks to total daily life, total movements, total decisions, total journeys, total life courses. It speaks to everything about you. But Yahweh will let you know He will preserve you in your going in and going and out. And He said, from this time forth, even forevermore. Until the next video, we say to you, Shalom.